Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements about India's savings trend. Okay, so this is an important question. One thing you have to remember is that the UPSC will try to give you questions that actually use a lot of analytics. Okay, it will try to force you to think analytically, right? So just keep this in mind. We are actually seeing a rising household debt. Okay, household debt is actually rising. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, and our household savings. Okay, household savings are actually declining. Okay, household savings are actually declining. So about 30% of GDP is actually the good rate of savings. Okay, like for example, the importance of savings is that it's actually provided by the Harold Domar model. I'm just going to briefly explain. Savings are required in an economy because they actually feed the investment, right? So in India, in most countries also, household is the largest source of savings. Okay, so in India, about like for example, 60% is actually contributed by household savings of the gross savings. 60% is actually from households, the rest is from corporate and government, all those actors. But we are seeing that the household savings is actually declining and the debt is actually increasing. Okay, so remember, household debt is increasing, let's say about 40% of GDP, and our savings, household savings is actually decreasing. This is not a good trend because the household debt, if you look at the category or what you can say, the composition of the household debt, it is actually for for consumption. Okay, it's not like the household is actually building up their capital assets. Okay, they are actually using the debt to fuel their consumption. Okay, to take more loans. Okay, the problem with this is that if you take more, if you use your debt and take for consumption, it is not going to repay. Like for example, you buy a shirt or something or clothes, new clothes using debt. That is not a good strategy. Why? Because you are actually not investing in that in any asset creation. Okay, the shirt cannot pay off itself, right? The shirt cannot generate income for you, right? So this is not a good trend that is being seen in India, and this also increases the interest payments. Okay, so the savings are now getting declining because a portion of the savings is now used to meet the interest payments. Like for example, low cost EMIs are there for various consumption expenses. You go to Amazon, right? You have various electric machinery, huge amount, dishwasher, just 4,000 EMI they will say. So your savings are now for buying that product. So that lifestyle consumption is being created as a trend in India. Okay, asset creation is not being focused. The savings are getting channelized to consumption expenditure. Right. Usually if savings are there, people invest in banks which will funnel the investment for the economy. But now people are actually using it for consumption. Just keep that idea in mind. Another reason is that the wages are actually stagnating. The wages are not keeping up with inflation and growing. So people are actually borrowing to actually fill the income gap. Okay, income gap. Okay, that is another issue. So recently Hindu actually had a article that actually highlighted this issue. Okay, so that's why I'm just explaining. So keep this idea in your mind. Okay, our household debt is increasing and household savings are actually declining. Corporate savings are actually not increasing. They are actually what you can say, not decreasing. Okay, corporate savings are not actually decreasing. They are actually increasing as well. But the problem with this issue is that the corporates who have now using these savings to deleverage. Okay, so the corporate are not using their savings to invest in more productive capacity. They are not increasing their capacity. Okay, industrial capacity. They are not building more machines. They are not increasing their taking measures to increase their output. They are trying to pay off their debts. Okay, they are going to deleverage and increase their margins, increase their profits. So the corporate profits are now also increasing. I'm just saying the general trend of the Indian economy right now. Okay, So corporate profits are increasing, corporate savings are also increasing, but the productive capacity of the economy is not increasing. Okay, so the corporates are what you can say, they are being risk averse. They are not investing in the Indian economy. That is also another trend we are seeing right now. Okay. So India savings trend. Household sector accounts for the bulk of the savings, but its share has declined in recent years. It's correct. So savings can be divided into household savings as well as the corporate savings. And household savings are actually 60% or close to that. Within household savings, there has been a shift from physical to financial assets. This is actually correct. Right. If you look at the retail market, the capital market, even though the FDI outflows are actually, like close to in per month in last 2025, after the Trump tariff and currency depreciation, a lot of FDI outflows happened. Okay, like about 2 billion, 1.8 billion, so that much amount. But still our market is staying resilient because of domestic capital. So there is a rising domestic capital in our capital market. That is also another trend, keep in mind. Okay, so there is a what we call as the financialization of savings. That is, there is a lot of people are actually using their savings to invest in the capital market, in the retail market, stock market, bond and all those things, right? Derivatives, all those things. They are not trying to buy assets like land, gold, physical gold. Okay, that is not being there. Their assets are more financialized. Okay, financial assets are being preferred. Okay, so corporate savings have shown a decreasing trend. Now we see that the corporate savings are also rising. Okay, and they are using these savings to deleverage, increase their profits. They are not investing in our country to build more. Okay, one of the reason is it's actually a self cycle. Okay, because we don't have the wages are stagnating, so the domestic demand is what you can say stuck, right? So if there is no domestic demand, why should the companies actually build more factories? Why should they build buy more capital machines, right? Why should they expand? Why should they build more branches? Because the domestic demand, there is no demand within the country to do that, right? So how many times the government actually asks them to throw off their risk averse attitude and invest? They won't invest. Why? Because it's not economical. They still don't believe that India's domestic demand will grow. Okay, so these are the fears and all. I just explained a little bit more for you to understand. So anyway, we'll see that. Okay, so this is actually wrong. Okay, I actually misread. I wrote it differently. Corporate savings have shown a decreasing trend. This is wrong. Corporate savings are increasing. Corporate saving is increasing. This is actually wrong. So only two statements are correct. Only two statements are correct.